Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadhanam Dhyahet Sarva Vignopashantaye Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadi Tamastu Mavid Vishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Agajanana Padmarkam Gajanana Maharnisham अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे श्रीमहागणपतये नमः गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः उमाकोमलहस्ताब्जसम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्रजं வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா லோகவீரியம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யஹம் சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா வாகர்த்தாவிவ சம்பிரக்தோ வாகர்த்த பிரதிபத்தயே जगदः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ श्री पार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः कोमलं कूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम् कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन् हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरणभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी ध्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयं श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि वंशी विभूषितकरात् नवनीरधाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീരക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചന നിന്നോടായി ഏതീനു മന്യനെ കുമ്പിടേണ്ടാത്തോരു രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കുന്നായി കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back after like a long break of 3 weeks. So I think we lost a little bit of inertia in between, but anyway, we'll continue going. So we'll do a quick review of Dasakam 4. So to maybe Srividya, can you do one half? Matangi, can you do one half?
Yeah, can I do the first half? Is it okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or is it okay?
Yeah, go ahead, Matangi.
Okay. Kalayantu mama. Sorry.
Kalyatam.
Sorry. Book serial. 1 second. Kalyatam mama kurushva tavatim. Kalyate pavat upasanam yaya. Spashtam ashtavidha yoga charyaya. Pushtaya shutava tushtimapnuyam. Brahmacharya dritataadividya maihi aplavadi niyamaischa pavitaha kurmahe dhritamami shukasanam pankajadhyamapi vabavat paraha taram antaranuchinta santatam pranavayum abhiyamya nirmalaha Indriyani vishayatata pruthak yasmahe bhavat upas anonmukaha.
And that last word you say it together, Bhavadupasanon mukhaha. Bhavat upasanon mukhaha.
Okay. Bhavat upasanonmukaha ashpute vapushite prayatnato daraye matishanamukurmuhu tena bhaktirasam antaradratam udvahema bhavadangri chintakaha vishputa vayava bheda sundaram tvat upaschuchirashi
Tvat
vapus suchirashīlanavashat ashramam manasi chintayamahe dhyana yogi niratastvadashrayaha dhyayatam sakala murtim idrishim unmishan madurata hridamanam Sandramodar sarupam antaram brahma rupamayiteva vasate.
Nothing in the third line. Sandramoda rasa rupam antaram.
So na tappa line potundirukken. Sorry.
That's okay. I mean, second or third, whatever you have there, like that word, right? Sandramoda rasa rupam antaram.
Okay. Sandramodara rupam antaram brahma rupamayiteva vasate tat samasvadena rupinam sitim tat tvat samadhi mayi vishwanayaka ashritif punarataf parichyutau arabe mahichadharama nadikam.
And the third line again, I would hear correction. The ashrita punaratah parichyutau.
Ashrita punaratah parichyutau. Arabe mahichadharanadikam.
Yeah, you can stop here, Matani. Thanks.
Okay.
Ittamabhayasana nirbharolasat त्वत्परात्मसुखकल्पितोत्सवाः मुक्तभक्तकुलमौलितां कथाः सञ्जरेम शुकनारदादिवत् वत्समाधिविजये तु यः पुनः मंशुमोक्षरशिगः क्रमणेवा योगवस्यमनिलं षडाश्रैः उन्नयत्यज सूक्ष्मनयासनैः.
And the fourth line, unnayatyaja sushumnaya shanaihi.
सुषुम्नयासनैः लिङ्गतेऽहमपि सन्ध्यजन्नतो लीयते द्वैपरे निराग्रहः ऊर्ध्वलोककुतुकीतु मूर्तदः
मूर्धतः सार्धमेव.
सार्धमेव करणैर्निरीयते अग्निवासर वलक्ष पक्षकैः उत्तरायणजुषु जुक्षास दैवतैः प्राविथोरविपदं भवत्परो मोदवान् ध्रुवपदान्दमीयते आस्तिधोतमहरालये यथा शेक्षवक्त्र दहनोष्मनार्यते ईयते भवतु पाश्रयस्तथा वेदसः पदमपुरैभवाम्.
Last line. Vedasah padamatah puraivava.
वेदसः पदमतः पुरैभवा तत्र वाधवपदे धवावसन् प्राकृतप्रलययेदि मुक्तधाम्. स्वेच्छया खलु पुरा विमुच्यते संविभित्य जगदण्डमोजसा तस्य सक्षितिभयो महो निलत्यो महत्प्रकृति सप्तकावृतिः तत्तदात्मगदया विसंसुखी यादिधे पदमनावृतं विभो अर्चिरादिकदिमेतृषीं वृजन् विश्रुतिं न भजते जगत्पथे गुणोदयान् उच्चरन्तमनिलेश पाहि मां. श्रीकृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे नमः.
Very good. Okay, let's continue with Dasakam 5. I think we left it at stanza 7. Let me just check how much we finished. Yeah, we had finished 7, so we'll continue from 8 on that. Okay, Sujata Garu, you can be student first off. Lata, you can be student. So stanza 8, Dasakam 5. Shabdhat vyoma tatassa sarchida vibho sparsham tato marutam tasmadrupamato maho tacharasam toyam cha gandham mahim evam madava purva kalanat adhyatya dharman vitam bhuta gramamimam tvameva bhagavan prakashayastamasat. Just maybe a quick recap because we're coming after 3 weeks. So this is talking about the evolution of the cosmos, how about the Virat Utpatti Varnam, how the Virat came about, the whole cosmic evolution came about, right? And it starts off by first talking about how when the Pralaya happened, there was absolutely nothingness, right? Nothing that was manifested, unmanifested, nothing was there. Then it went on to explain, however, when you say nothing was there, it doesn't mean it didn't absolutely not be there. It was all still residing in you in a sukshmam form, right? And when the appropriate time came, which was the Dvipararda of Brahma, when the life of Brahma had gotten over, new Brahma was about to come, at that time, with your ikshana, just with your glance, because you just had a determination that it has to be created. So at that time, the entire process started. And then it's talked about how, you know, with the illusion, with Maya on your side, all the creation, the process starts. And in the process itself, first it starts with the Mahat, the intelligence which was there, and initially everything was part of the same universal consciousness. There was no individual identity, and there was only one supreme universal consciousness. And then from that universal consciousness, individual the ahankaram or the ego or the I-ness or the oneness started coming, and that was the source of all the jivas and everything which is going to come in the future. And then it talked about from that Mahat, so in the previous, from the previous one, so once that Mahat was there, then that Ahankaram or the oneness is there. So when all of this was in equilibrium, everything was good. And then from that started coming the various Tanmatra, the various, concept of the Tanmatra, the concept of sense, taste, smell, all of that started coming in the 6th one. So here in the 7th one, what he's talking about is how things build on each other, right? So the first thing what he's talking about is, in the previous 7th stanza, he says, from the ahankaram, from the rajasic part of ahankaram, the tanmatra comes, the indriyas come, which is the karmendriyas and the jnanendriyas, the 5 organs of knowledge and the 5 organs of action, right? Which is the organs of knowledge are ability to see, hear, taste, touch, and everything. And then the organs of action, which is, the ability to do things, right? So that was all coming. And then first thing that actually is coming out in the previous 7th stanza is Shabdojani Twadbalat. So the concept of sound comes, right? So there was no sound also before, right? So there's no concept of anything. So the concept of sound comes. And in this stanza, in stanza 8, it talks about how things start building on each other. So from the concept of sound, so you have to think of 2 things here. There are going to be like the tanmatras, which are the 5 senses of perception, or the 5 things which are like the sound, touch, smell, taste, vision, which are the 5 tanmatras. And then you have the 5 panchabhutas, which we know, which is space, air, fire, water, and earth, right? So these 5 things. So here is talking about how each one builds on the other and how each one leads to the other in this stanza. So he talks about, first, there was only the concept of sound. From the tanmatra of sound comes the panchabhuta of space, because in space there is only sound, right? So that is the first thing that comes about. Then from the space comes the concept of touch, which is the second tanmatra. So now you have sound and then you have touch. So the panchabhuta, which has got the concept of sound and touch, is vayu, or air, because when a wind blows, you can hear the wind blowing and you can feel the wind. So you have the concept of sound and you have the concept of touch. Next, from this comes the concept of smell. So, right, that is the third tanmatra which is coming about. So now you have sound, you have touch, and you have smell. And the one which, the form, the shape, form is the third one that comes. And the one which the panchabhutam which comes from that is fire, because fire, you can have, it has, when the fire is blazing, you can hear the fire, you can touch the fire, and you can feel the fire. And when you look at the homam, the fire has a form. So the third concept of form is coming. Next, the fourth thing that the tanmatram that is coming about is the concept of taste. So you can be able to taste something. So then the panchabhuta associated with having all 4, which is sound, touch, form, and taste, is water. Because water, you can taste it, right? So water has a taste. So that is the 4th one. And the last one, which is actually coming, the tanmatra which is coming, is the concept of smell. And the panchabhuta, which has got all of these 5 tanmatras, is earth. Or like generally in earth doesn't mean just this bhumi, but anything on which things can happen, right? So those are the 5 things. So he's talking about how each of these things are building on each other. The tanmatras are building on each other, and the panchabhutas are getting created. So that's this stanza. So shabdhat vyoma, comma, tataha, putta is, tatas sasarjita vibho, sparsham tato marutam, comma, tasmad rupamato mahota cha rasam, comma, toyam cha gandham mahim. Shabdhat vyoma tatas sasarjita vibho sparsham tato marutam tasmad rupamato mahota cha rasam toyam cha gandham mahim.
Shabdadyoma ततः ससर्जितविभो स्पर्शं ततो मारुतं तस्माद्रूपमतो महोतचरसं तोयं च गन्धं महीम् शब्दाद्योम ततः ससर्जितविभो स्पर्शं ततो मारुतं तस्माद्रूपमतो महोतचरसं तोयं च गन्धं महीम्
शब्दात् व्योम ततः ससर्जित विभो स्पर्शं ततो मारुतं तस्माद्रूपमतो महोतचरसं तोयं च गन्धं महीम् शब्दात् व्योम ततः ससर्जित विभो स्पर्शं ततो मारुतं तस्माद्रूपमतो महोतचरसं तोयं च गन्धं महीम्
एवं माधव purva kalanath. So you'll have like a da there. We're going to break the da into a it and a a. So Purva Purva Kalanath, comma. Next word starts with the A. Adhyadhya, double Dhya. Adhyadhya Dharmanvitam, comma. Bhuta Gramamimam Tvameva Bhagavan, comma. Prakashayas Tamasat. एवं माधव पूर्व पूर्व कलनात् आध्याद्य धर्मान्वितं भूतग्राममिमं त्वमेव भगवन् प्राकाशयस्तामसात्.
एवं माधव पूर्व पूर्व कलनाद् आद्याद्य धर्मान्वितं भूतग्राममिमं त्वमेव भगवन् प्राकाशयस्तामसात्. एवं माधव पूर्व पूर्व कलनाद् आद्याद्य धर्मान्वितं भूतग्राममिमं त्वमेव भगवन् प्राकाशयस्तामसात्.
एवं माधव पूर्व पूर्व कलनात् आद्याद्य धर्मान्वितं भूतग्राममिं त्वमेव भगवन् प्राकाशयस्तामसात्. एवं माधव पूर्व पूर्व कलनात् आद्याद्य धर्मान्वितं भूतग्राममिं त्वमेव भगवन् प्राकाशयस्तामसात्.
Latan, the fourth line, first word, I think it was just breaking when you were saying, so Bhuta Grama Mimam.
Oh, Grama Mimam. Oh, sorry, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Stanza 9. Yete Bhutaganastatendriya Ganaha Devascha Jatah Pratang Noshe Kur Bhuvananda Nirmiti Vidhau Devairami Bhistada Tvam Nana Vida Sukti Bhirnuta Gunaha Tatvanya Vishanhe Cheshta Shakti Mudiryata Nighatayan Hairanya Mandham Vyadaha. So now you have all these, like these Lego blocks, right? You have the concepts which are there of the sense organs, action organs, everything is there. You now have the Panchabhutas in their individual elements are all there. You have the Tanmatram, the concepts of everything is there. But that alone cannot, create the entire universe, right? It's all existing in individual pieces. So the first thing the Lord does, right? At this time, remember, there's absolutely only these concepts of these things are there, and only Lord Narayana is lying down. So what Lord Narayana does is he then has to break himself. By break himself, it means he takes individual portions of his energy into each of these things and then brings them together to form the Hiranya Mandam, forming the Hiranya Garbha egg. It's called an egg because it is shaped like an egg. Doesn't mean that there is a physical egg, right, with a shell. That's not the idea here. It is shaped like an egg with all the worlds, and it'll come in the next stanza anyways. But with this, oh Lord, you who then decides, because there are so many universes, right? There's so many andams which are there. And so you, oh Lord, decide that you have to now step in, and you with your energy has to go into each of these things and kind of mix them together to then form the Hiranyagarbha egg. And I'll tell you what is there inside it in the next stanza. But Ete Bhutaganas Tatendriya Ganaha. Put a visarga there and a comma. Devascha Jataha. Put a F. Jatah Pratang. So it's the ing sound. Pratang. And then put a plus. No Shekur Bhuvananda Nirmiti Vidhau, comma. Devairami Tada. So one comma after Bhuta Tatendriya Ganaha, then it goes continuously, and then after Vidhau in the second line there is a comma.
Rajesh, it is Pratak or Pratang? Ennoda bookla ik.
The individual word is Pratak, ik.
Okay.
But because you're saying it with the na, which is coming in the next line, it becomes a ing, Pratang.
Okay. Okay.
Yethe bhutaganastatendriya ganaha devascha jatah pratang noshe kur bhuvananda nirmiti vidhau devairami bhistada.
Yete bhutaganastatendriya ganaha देवार्च जाता पृथङ्नो शेकुर्भवनाण्ड निर्मितिविधौ देवैरमीभिस्तदा
Shrita Garu, second line, Bhuvanand, using Bhav, Bhuvanand.
Bhuvananda. Okay, Shekur Bhuvananda. Okay. Yete Bhutagana Satendriyaganaha Devacha Jata Prudangno Shekur Bhuvananda Nirmiti Vidhau Devairami Bhistada.
Ete bhutaganastatendriyaganaha devascha jatah pritang no shekurbuvananda nirmita vidau devairami bistada. Ete bhutaganastatendriyaganaha devascha jatah pritang no shekurbuvananda nirmita vidau devairami bimistada.
Second line, Nirmithi Vidhau.
Nirmiti, yeah.
You said Nirmati, right?
It's only ta in the book. Okay, I'll correct it.
Nirmiti, yeah.
Okay.
Tvam Nana Vida Suktibhir Nuta Gunaha. So that is there. Put a visarga comma, Gunaha. Tatvanya Munya Vishan. You have to put a in. Tatvanya Munya Vishan N, comma. Next line, if you have a ish, that ish goes away. Cheshta Shakti Mudirya Tani Ghatayan, comma. Hairanyam Andham. Hairanyam Andham Vyadaha. Tvam Nanha Vida Suktibhir Nuta Gunaha Tatvanya Munya Vishan Cheshta Shakti Mudirya Tani Ghatayan Hairanyam Andham Vyadaha.
Tvam नानाविधसूक्तिभिन्नुतगुणः तत्त्वान्यमून्या विशन्नु चेष्टाशक्तिमुदीर्यता निघटयन् हैरण्यमण्डं व्यधाः त्वं नानाविधसूक्तिभिन्नुतगुणः तत्त्वान्यमून्या विशन्नु चेष्टाशक्तिमुदीर्यता निघटयन् हैरण्यमण्डं व्यधाः
त्वं नानाविधसूक्तिभिर्नुतगुणः तत्त्वान्यमून्या विषण् चेष्टाशक्तिमुदीर्यता निघटयन् हैरण्यमण्डं व्यदाः त्वं नानाविधसूक्तिभिर्नुतगुणः तत्त्वान्यमून्या विषण् चेष्टाशक्तिमुदीर्यता निघटयन् हैरण्यमण्डं व्यदाः.
Andham Tatkalu Purvasrishta Salile Tishtat Sahasram Samaha Nirbindanna Kritas Chatur Dasha Jagat Rupam Viradahvayam Sahasraih Karapada Murdhanivahaihi Nishesha Jivatmako Nirbhatosi Marutpuradhipasamam Trayasva Sarvamayat. So the simplest way of thinking about it, right? And don't literally translate it because that's not what it is. I'm trying to give like a very crude parallel example, right? So when you think of an egg that comes from a hen, right? So initially there's nothing like an egg, right? So the first, somehow the shell is getting created and the contents are going inside the shell. But then from that content, a chick is getting born, right? A baby is coming out, right? So you think of it in that crude example. Here he's saying first the Hairanya Andam, the golden egg is created, which has got a mix of all these things with your illusory energy. Then you, O Lord, go in and break that and form the 14 worlds inside of that Hiranya Andam. So the concept of the worlds are now coming inside that Brahmandam or the Hairanya Andam or the golden egg, the different names for it, but that's a concept of the 14 worlds that are coming. So we'll go through those. Now, the thing here is in this, the first avataram of the Lord, like we say, when we always say first avataram is Matsya Avataram. So this is the first avataram of the Lord as per Bhagavatam, because the Lord is going into that in that Andam, creating all the 14 worlds, and he is the one who is the 14 worlds itself. So it's not like the 14 worlds are different from him. So this Virat means generally giant or grand or enormous, right? But generally the Virat is also referred to as the 14 worlds. All of the 14 worlds put together is called as a Virat. The Lord himself is the 14 worlds personified. So it is called as the Virat Purusha. The one who is the 14 worlds is called as the Virat Purusha, because Purusha is a person, right? Is a leader. Then Virat Swarupam of the Lord means the form of the Lord with all the 14 worlds from the top of his head to the bottom of the feet described in that is called as the Virat Swarupam of the Lord, which we are going to see in the 6th Dasakam. So this is the first avataram or the incarnation of the Lord, where he himself comes and becomes all the 14 worlds. Right? Now the 14 worlds, they are categorized into two parts. There is a top world and there is a bottom world. Now the top world starts with Bhuhu, which is the earth. So by worlds, it doesn't mean one planet or one thing. It is, you have to think of it as like a plane in very simple words, right? So there are 14 planes of existence. So the first plane, which is the base plane, you can think of it as the Bhuhu. So for people who do Sandhya Vandanam and you do the pranayama, you Om Bhur Bhuvaha Suvaha Mahaha Janaha Tapaha Satyam. So those are the various words which go above from the earth, it goes above those are 7 worlds. Then there are the 7 worlds which are the below worlds. So that is the Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala. Those are the 7 bottom worlds. Again, like I said, worlds means you think of it as a plane. So all of these 14 planes are then encapsulated into this imaginary shell called as the golden egg, and that is the entire universe. So that is where everything, including Brahma, exists inside that 14 worlds. There's nothing, the only thing or the only person which exists outside of these 14 worlds, which we'll see in the 7th chapter, is the Vaikuntham of the Lord, where the Lord is there. Otherwise, everything is existing within these 14 worlds. So that is the description, that is the formation of the 14 worlds. That's how this chapter ends. And you, O Lord, you shine across all these 14 worlds with Sahasrai Karapada, with thousands of your heads, arms, and legs. And we're going to see more of that in the 6th Dashakam. So with this, Bhadripad ends this concept of the formation of the Virat, which is the formation of the cosmic evolution. And next chapter goes into the form of the Lord as described, the Virat Purusha, Virat Swarupa Varnana. So Andam Tat Khalu, Purva Srishta Salile Tishtat. It comes as one word. Salile Tishtat Sahasram Samaha, Nirbhindan Nakritash Chatur Dasha Jagad Rupam Viradahvayam. So that's one line. No pause there. Andham Tat Khalu Purva Srishta Salile Tishtat Sahasram Samaha Nirbhindanna Kritas Chatur Dasha Jagad Rupam Viradahvayam.
Andam Tatkalu Purvasrishta Salile Tishtat Sahasram Samaha Nirbhindanna Krutha Chatur Dasha Jagad Rupam Viradahvayam. Andam Tatkalu Purvasrishta Salile Tishtat Sahasram Samaha Nirbhindanna Krutha Chaturdasha Jagadrupam Viradahvayam.
Jata Garu, the second line, after the Krita, there is a Ish, Kritash Chatur.
Okay, Kritash Chaturdasha Jagadrup. Okay.
Andam Tatkalu Purvasrishta Salile Tishtat Sahasram Samaha Nirbindanna Kritas Chaturdasha Jagadrupam Viradahvayam. Andam Tatkalu Purvasrishta Salile Tishtat Sahasram Samaha Nirbindanna Kritas Chaturdasha Jagadrupam Viradahvayam.
Sahasraihi, put a ih sound, Sahasraih Karapada Murdha Nivahaihi. So there you put the Visarga and a comma, Nivahaihi. On top of the ni, there will be an ir that goes away. Nishesha Jivatmako, comma, Nirbhatosi, and then put a comma, Marutpura Dhipa Samam Trayasva Sarvamayat. साहस्रैः करपादमूर्धनिवहैः निःशेषजीवात्मको निर्भातोऽसि मरुत्पुराधिपसमां त्रायस्व सर्वामयात्।
साहस्रैः करपादमूर्धनिवहैः निःशेषजीवात्मको निर्भातोऽसि मरुत्पुराधिपसमां त्रायस्व सर्वामयात्। साहस्रैः करपादमूर्धनिवहैः निःशेषजीवात्मको निर्भातोऽसि मरुत्पुराधिपसमां त्रायस्व सर्वामयात्।
साहस्रैकरपादमूर्धनिवहैः निःशेषजीवात्मको निर्भातोऽसि मरुत्पुराधिपसमां त्रायस्व सर्वामयात्। साहस्रैकरपादमूर्धनिवहैः निःशेषजीवात्मको निर्भातोऽसि मरुत्पुराधिपसमां त्रायस्व सर्वामयात्।
Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Come to Dasakam 6. Dasakam 6 is a very, very nice, important chapter, like in a sense, very powerful chapter. So for those of you, if you know Rig Veda, right? Rig Veda has a lot of description of the Brahman and the Supreme Lord. And one of the things which has also come from that is Purusha Suktam, right? You might have all heard about Purusha Suktam, which is chanted in every function, right? Even if you're doing Aisha Homam or Ganapati Homam, they chant Purusha Suktam, right? And it is chanted in every Vedic function. Purusha Suktam is chanted. Now, of course, to learn Purusha Suktam, you should learn it from a guru, and you should have Vedic knowledge and all of that stuff. So for people who are not able to chant Purusha Suktam, this chapter is pretty much whatever is there in Purusha Suktam articulated by Bhattatri, but of course this was articulated originally in Bhagavatam, where Lord Narada is asking Brahma that talk to me about the greatness of the Lord, who is the entire universe. There's nothing which he's not, right? So like I said, that is the first avataram of the Lord, is the Virat Swarupam of the Lord. So here it is essentially describing the form of the Lord from the head to the toe, or actually from the feet to the head, as if the entire world is embedded into him, right? So it's going to talk about how, and it's nothing complicated to explain here. It's going to say this part of your body is this world. So it's in very simple terms, you close your eyes and you want to imagine all the 14 worlds and everything inside of it. What will the form of the Lord looks like? And for simplicity, because we are all humans, this is articulated as if it's a human body. And then saying for each of the human body parts, what is the appropriate things in the universe, right? That's how this chapter goes. So it's going to be nothing much for me to explain. I'm just going to literally say what is there when I'm explaining it. So stanza 1. Evam chaturdasha jaganmayatam gatasya patalamisha tava padatalam vadanti padordvadeshamapi deva rasatalam te gulphatvayam kalu mahatalamadbhutatman. This is, O Lord, in this way you took the form of the 14 worlds in the Hiranyagarbha, in the Andam, right? And when you go from the bottom, he says, if you remember, I told you there are 7 bottom worlds, nether worlds, and 7 higher worlds, right? So you start from the bottom worlds and you go to the bottommost world, which is Patala. Then you go to the bottommost part of the Lord's feet. He says, the bottom of your feet is Patala. Then on top of your feet, the top of your feet, right, which is there, is the next one, which is which is coming. So Patala, and then the next one I think comes is Patala Misha Padotva Desham Deva Rasatalam. So that is the Rasatala which is there. And then the ankles, when you go further up, the ankles that you have, that is Mahatala. And then so that is in this, so Mahat Gulpad Bayam. So that is the ankles of you are Mahatalam. So those are the 3 words which are described in here, which is the Lord's feet. So evam chaturdasha jagan mayatam gatasya, pathalam isha tava padatalam vadanti, short e, padordva deshamapi deva rasatalam te, gulphadvayam khalu mahatalam adbhutatman. Evam chaturdasha jagan mayatam gatasya पातालमीश तव पादतलं वदन्ति पादोर्ध्वदेशमपि देवरसातलं ते गुल्फद्वयं खलु महातलमद्भुतात्मन्
एवं चतुर्दश जगन्मयतां गतस्य पातालमीश तव पादतलं वदन्ति पादोर्ध्वदेशमपि देवरसातलं ते गुल्पद्वयं खलु महातलमद्भुतात्मन् एवं चतुर्दश जगन्मयतां गतस्य पातालमीश तव पादतलं वदन्ति पादोर्ध्वदेशमपि देवरसातलं ते गुल्फद्वयं खलु महातलमद्भुतात्मन्
एवं चतुर्दश जगन्मयतां गतस्य पातालमीश तव पादतलं वदन्ति पादोर्ध्वदेशमपि देवरसातलं ते गुल्फद्वयं खलु महातलमद्भुतात्मन् एवं चतुर्दश जगन्मयतां गतस्य पातालमीश तव पादतलं वदन्ति पादोर्ध्वदेशमपि देवरसातलं ते गुल्फद्वयं खलु महातलमद्भुतात्मन्
That's it. जङ्घे तलातलमतो सुतलं च जानु किञ्चोरुभागयुगलं वितलातले द्वे श्रोणीतलं जगनमम्बरमङ्गनाभिः वक्षश्च शक्रनिलयस्तव चक्रपाणे. So chakrapane means the one who is the wielder of the discus. So now when you kind of comes, so the portion, now we came up to the ankles. So the portion of the leg which is between the knee and the ankles, so that portion of the leg where the calf muscles and everything are there, he says that is the sutala region. Then your the two thighs of your are vitala and athala, that's the two thighs. Then your hip region is the earth, like we said, because the 7 words below, 7 words above, earth is kind of in the middle plane, not necessarily but approximately. So the hip of yours is the earth. Then the nabhi is the ambharam, nabhi is the sky which is there, and then of course your chest is the swargaloka where Indra resides, so it's a swargaloka. Jange tala thalamato sutalam cha janu, comma kinchoru bhaga yugalam bitala tale dve kshoni talam jaganam ambaram anga. 3 words there, you can say it together also. Jaganam ambaram anga nabihi, put a visarga and a comma there, nabihi. Next line on top of the va, there is a ir that goes away. Vakshascha shakra nilayas tava chakrapani. Jange tala talamato sutalam cha janu kinchoru bhaga yugalam vitala tale dve kshoni talam jaganam ambaramanganabihi vakshascha shakra nilayastava chakrapani.
जङ्घे तलातलमथो सुतलं च जानु किञ्चोरुभागयुगलं वितलातले द्वे क्षोणीतलं जघनमम्बरमङ्गनाभिः वक्षश्च शक्रनिलयस्तव चक्रपाणे जङ्घे तलातलमथो सुतलं च जानु किञ्चोरुभागयुगलं वितलातले द्वे क्षोणीतलं जघनमम्बरमङ्गनाभिः वक्षश्च शक्रनिलयस्तव चक्रपाणे.
Oh, sorry, my phone wasn't unmuting. Sorry. Jange tala talamato sutalam cha janu kinchoru bhaga yugalam vitala tale dve shoni talam jaganam ambaramanganabihi vakshascha shakra nilayastava chakrapane. Jange tala talamato sutalam cha janu kinchoru bhaga yugalam vitala tale dve क्षोणीतलं जगनमम्बरमङ्गनाभिः वक्षश्च शक्रनिलयस्तव चक्रपाणे.
I'll
have to practice it.
Stanza 3. Griva mahastava mukam cha janastapastu phalam shirastava samastamayasya satyam evam jaganmayatano jagadashritairyapyanyair nibhaddava pushe bhagavan namaste. So next when you go, he says, Griva, your neck is Maharloka. Then your face is Janaha, is Janaloka. Your forehead is Tapaloka. And finally, your head is Satyaloka, where Brahma and everybody resides. So that's your kind of definition of the 14 worlds there. He says, however, O Lord, Namaha, my salutations to this form of yours, which not only contains the 14 worlds as we described, but also remember everything else which is in the 14 worlds is also contained in your body. So to that form of you, that form of yours, my namaskarams. And the next set of stanzas, he'll talk about the other things which are there. But anyway, this is how the 14 worlds are spread across the Lord from the feet to the head. Griva mahastava mukam cha janas tapastu, phalam shirastava samastamayasya satyam evam jaganmayatano jagadashritai. So that you put a plus at the end of it, and then you kind of have to say that word together. Jagadashritairapyanyair. Okay, Jagadashritayirapi Anyair, two different words. So Jagadashritayirapyanyair Nibhadda Vapushe Bhagavan Namaste. Griva Mahastava Mukam cha Janastapastu Phalam Shirastava Samastamayasya Satyam Evam Jaganmayatano Jagadashritayirapyanyair Nibhadda Vapushe Bhagavan Namaste.
Griva mahastava mukam cha janastapastu phalam sirastava samastamayasya satyam evam jaganmayatano jagadashritairyapainyai nibaddhava pushe bhagavan namaste. Evam jaganmayatano jagadashritai Griva mahastava mukham cha janastapastu phalam shirastava samastamayasya satyam evam jaganmayatano jagadashritairyapannayir nibaddhava pushe bhagavan namaste.
Griva mahastava mukam cha janastapastu phalam shirastava samastamayasya satyam evam jaganmayatano jagadashritairyapyanyair nibaddhavapushe bhagavan namaste. Griva mahastava mukam cha janastapastu phalam shirastava samastamayasya satyam evam jaganmayatano jagadashritairyapyanyair nibaddhavapushe bhagavan namaste.
That's about Twadbrahmarandra padamishwara vishwakantha chandamsi keshava ghanastava kesha pashaha ullasi chilli yugalam druhinasya geham pakshma niratri divasau savita chanetre. It goes to the other things. He's saying, oh Lord, Tvad Brahmarandra, your Brahmarandra, which is on the top of your crown, is the Vedas, which is where all the knowledge is there. Then your Kesha Pashaha, your hair, which you have, is like the dark clouds which come, right? When the rest of the thing is literally, it doesn't mean that, you have to kind of imagine, because it's a poet, it's a Lord is there describing the Lord. So he says your hair is like the dark clouds which are there. Then the eyebrows of yours, is where the abode of Brahma is. So Druhinasya Geham, that's where Brahma sits, in your eyebrows. Then your eyelashes, which you have, are like day and night. And then the last one, which is Savitacha Netre, your eyes are like the sun itself, which is the source of all the energy. So Tvat Brahmarandra Padamishwara Vishwakanda, Chandamsi Keshava Ghanas Tava Kesha Pashaha Ullasi Chilli Yugalam Druhinasya Geham, Pakshmani Ratri Divasau Savitacha Netre. Twadbrahmarandra Padamishwara Vishwakantha छन्दांसि केशव घनास्तव केशपाशाः उल्लासि चिल्लियुगलं द्रुहिणस्य गेहं पक्ष्मानि रात्रिदिवसौ सविता च नेत्रे
त्वद्ब्रह्मरन्ध्रपदमीश्वर विश्वकन्द छन्दांसि केशव घनास्तव केशपाशाः उल्लासि चिल्लियुगलं द्रुहिणस्य गेहं पक्ष्माणि रात्रिदिवसौ सविता च नेत्रे त्वद्ब्रह्मरन्ध्रपदमीश्वर विश्वकन्द छन्दांसि केशव घनास्तव केशपाशाः उल्लासि चिल्लियुगलं द्रुहिणस्य गेहं पक्ष्माणि रात्रिदिवसौ सविता च नेत्रे
त्वद्ब्रह्मरन्ध्रपदमीश्वर विश्वकन्द छन्दांसि केशव घनास्तव केशपाशाः उल्लासि चिल्लियुगलं द्रुहिणस्य गेहं पक्ष्मानि रात्रिदिवसौ सविता च नेत्रे त्वद्ब्रह्मरन्ध्रपदमीश्वर विश्वकन्द छन्दांसि केशव घनास्तव केशपाशाः उल्लासि चिल्लियुगलं द्रुहिणस्य गेहं पक्ष्मानि रात्रिदिवसौ सविता च नेत्रे.
Switch Marfe. Vasanta garu, you can be a student, and Usha garu, you can be a student. Stanza 5. निःशेष विश्वरचना च कटाक्ष मोक्षः कर्णौ दिशोष्वियुगलं तव नासिके द्वे लोभत्रपे च भगवन्न धरोत्तरोष्टौ तारा गणाश्च दशनाश्रमनश्च दंष्ट्रा. So continuing here, he says now, your, like we saw in the previous one, right? So that you, O Lord, with your look, right, with your kataksha mokshaha, just with your side glances, you are able to create the entire universe. The entire universe creation automatically starts when, like we saw in the word ikshana comes, when you just look at it and then it just starts happening. So that is that. Then your ears, the karnau, the ears are the directions which are there. And then the nasike, the two nostrils that you have are the two Ashwini devatas. Then your teeth, which are there, which are shining, are like the galaxy of stars that we see because of the shining that is there. And your molars are the god is Yama, which is the god of death. I don't know why that is the case, but anyway, the molars are the god of death, Yama. Nishesha Vishwa Rachana Cha Kataksha Mokshaha, Karnau Dishoshvi Yugalam Tava Nasike Dve Lobhatrape Cha Bhagavanna Dharota Roshtau Tara Ganascha Dashanaha Pute Ish Dashanash Shamanascha Damstra. निःशेष विश्वरचना च कटाक्ष मोक्षः कर्णौ दिशोष्वियुगलं तव नासिके द्वे लोभत्रपे च भगवन्न धरोत्तरोष्टौ तारागणाश्च दशनाशमनश्च दंष्ट्रा.
निःशेष विश्वरचना च कटाक्ष मोक्षः कर्णौ दिशोष्वियुगलं तव नासिके द्वे लोभत्रपे च भगवन्नधरोत्तरोष्टौ तारागणाश्च दशनाशमनश्च दंष्ट्रा. निःशेष विश्वरचना च कटाक्ष मोक्षः कर्णौ दिशोष्वियुगलं तव नासिके द्वे लोभत्रपे च भगवन्नधरोत्तरोष्टौ तारागणाश्च दशनाशमनश्च दंष्ट्रा.
Sugar, are you there?
Yeah, listen. Yeah. निःशेष विश्वरचना च कटाक्ष मोक्षाः कर्णौ दिशोष्वियुगलं तव नासिके द्वे लोभत्रपे च भगवन्नधरोत्तरोष्टौ तारागणाश्च दशनाशमनश्च दंष्ट्रा. निःशेष विश्वरचना च कटाक्ष मोक्षाः
मोक्षः.
ओके. निःशेष विश्वरचना च कटाक्ष मोक्षः कर्णौ दिशोष्वियुगलं तव नासिके द्वे लोभत्रपे च भगवन्नधरोत्तरोष्टौ तारागणाश्च दशनाशमनश्च दंष्ट्रा.
Stanza 6. Maya bilasa hasitam shwasitam samiro jihva jalam vachanamisha shakunta panktihi siddhadaya swaragana mukarandramagnihi deva bhujastanayugam tava dharma devaha. It is your charming smile, bilasa hasitam, your wide charming smile is the cause of everything. Is like Maya itself. It's a creative power which actually goes and does everything. Then your breath is the wind that is there everywhere. That's your breath. Jihva jalam, your tongue is the water that exists all over the anywhere that is there. Then your mouth, Mukharandram Agnihi, your mouth is the god of fire, Agni, and your arms are the devas, and your breasts are the god of dharma, is Dharma Deva. So some of these things, right? If you heard Purusha Suktam, the first line itself starts with Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat. Just one who has thousands of Sahasra Shirsha, thousands of heads, thousands of arms, thousands of feet, thousands of eyes. And it means, like I always say, it's thousands, because it means it's not just thousand. It means to say you are everywhere, right? That's how it starts. Purusha Suktam starts that way. And some of these things, which are everything that is there in Purusha Suktam, where it's describing how the various parts of the Lord are the various things, and some of it is going to come even later. Even here, Mukharandram Agnihi. So for those of you who know Vishnu Sahasranamam, if you look at the Dhyana Stogam, it says, Bhuvpado Yasya Nabir Veera Suranilas Chandra Surya Uchanetre Karna Vasha Shirodhyaur Mukamapi Dahano Yasya Vasteyam Agni Mukamapi Dahano. Your mouth is the fire. So even the Vishnu Sahasranamam Dhyana Stokam comes from Purusha Suktam, right? And then that again comes from how Brahma originally described this form, the Virat form of the Lord, to Narada, right? So anyway, all of these are connected. So they're all kind of the same thing, just articulated in different words, but the core essence still remains the same here. So Maya Bilasa Hasitam Shwasitam Samiro. So half-ish Shwasitam Samiro, comma, Jihva Jalam Vachanamisha Shakunta Panktihi. Siddhadayaha, put is Siddhadayas Swaragana Mukarandram Agnihi, put a visarga there, Mukarandram Agnihi, comma. Next line on top of the Deva, there is a ir that goes away. Deva Bhujaha, put a is Bhujas, Stanayugam Tava Dharma Devaha. Maya Bilasa Hasitam Shwasitam Samiro Jihva Jalam Vachanamisha Shakunta Panktihi Siddhadaya Swaragana Mukarandram Agnihi Deva Bhujastana Yugam Tava Dharma Devaha.
Maya Vilasa Hasitam Shwasitam Samiro Jihva Jalam Vachanamesha Sekunta Panktihi Siddhadayaswaragana Mukharandramagnihi Deva Bhuja Stanayugam Tava Dharma Devaha. Maya Vilasa Hasitam Shwasitam Samiro Jihva Jalam Vachanamesha Sekunta Panktihi Siddhadayaswaragana Mukharandramagnihi Deva Bhuja Stanayugam Tava Dharma Devaha.
Maya Vilasa Hasitam Swasitam Samiro Jihva Jalam Vachanamisha Sekunta Panktihi Siddhadaya Swaragana Mukarandramagnihi Deva Bhujastana Yugam Tava Dharma Devaha. Maya Vilasa Hasitam Swasitam Samiro Jihva Jalam Vachanamisha Sekunta Panktihi Siddhadaya Swaragana Mukarandramagnihi Deva Bhujastana Yugam Tava Dharma Devaha.
Prishtam Twadharma Iha Deva Manasudhamshuhu Avyaktameva Hridayam Bhujamam Bhujaksha Kukshis Samudra Nivaha Vasanam Tu Sandhye Shepah Prajapati Rasau Vrishanau Chamitraha. So continue saying that the back, your Prishtam, the back of you is the unrighteousness, right? So because essentially when you're looking at the Lord, you look at the righteousness of the Lord. The back of you is the unrighteousness. Then your mind is the moon, right? That's why you say the moon controls our mind, right? So your mind is the moon. Then your heart, Hridayam Ambujaksha, your lotus-like heart is kind of is the unmanifested thing. Like we saw it, initially everything, there's nothing in existence. It's all unmanifested. So all of that is your heart. Your abdomen is the oceans or all the water that is there. And then the generative organs that you have, right, which gives the organs of creation, that is Prajapati itself. And your testicles are Vrishnaucha Mitraha, is the god Mitra, who is also in one of the acts of creations. So Prishtam Twadharma Iha Deva Manaha, put is Manas Sudham Shuhu. So put a visarga at the end of that line and comma, Sudham Shuhu. Next line, if you have Rabhyaktameva, that becomes Avyaktameva. It becomes a Avyaktameva Hridayambhujam Ambujaksha. If you want to break it, Hridayambhujam Ambujaksha. Kukshihi, put a is Kukshis Samudra Nivaha Vasanam tu Sandhye, comma, Shepaha, put a F, Shepah Prajapatirasau Vrishanau cha Mitraha. Prishtham twadharma iha deva manasudhamshuhu avyaktameva hridayambhujamam bhujaksha kukshis samudra nivaha vasanam tu sandhye shepa prajapatirasau vrishanau cha mitraha.
पृष्ठं त्वधर्म इह देव मनःसुधांसुः अव्यक्तमेव हृदयाम्बुजमम्बुजाक्षा कुक्षिः समुद्रनिवहावसनं तु सन्ध्ये शेफः प्रजापतिरसौ वृषणौ च मित्रः पृष्ठं त्वधर्म इह देव मनःसुधांसुः अव्यक्तमेव हृदयाम्बुजमम्बुजाक्षा कुक्षिः समुद्रनिवहावसनं तु सन्ध्ये शेफः प्रजापतिरसौ वृषणौ च मित्रः
पृष्टं त्वधर्म इह देव मनःसुधांसुः अव्यक्तमेव हृदयाम्बुजमम्बुजाक्षा कुक्षिः समुद्रनिवहवसनं तु सन्ध्ये शेफः प्रजापतिरसौ वृषणौ च मित्रः पृष्ठं त्वधर्म इह देव
Sudhamshuhu.
Yeah. पृष्ठं त्वधर्म इह देव मनःसुधांशुः अव्यक्तमेव हृदयाम्बुजम्बुजाक्षः कुक्षिः समुद्रनिवहवसनं तु सन्ध्ये शेफः प्रजापतिरसौ वृषणौ च मित्रः.
Ushagaru, that second line, right? Can you just say that word? Hridayambhujam ambujaksha.
Oh.
Just say that line again.
Oh, yes, I will. Avyaktameva hridayambujamambujaksha.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Answer 8. Shonistalam mrigaganah padayornakaste hastyushtra saindhavamukaha gamanam tu kalahat vipradi varna bhavanam vadanabjabahu charuru yugma charanam karunam budete. So next here it says the behind your waist, the backside of your waist is kind of all the non-humans, all the animal worlds. Then your toe, the nails which are there in your feet are representing all the animals, because when you think, I think the example here, the only thing I can think of is, because when you look at the elephant, right, it's like 4 feet standing with a big nail, so that's the only connection I can think. I don't know why that is the case, but anyway, the toe nails are the elephants and all the other animals which are actually there. And then your movement, so your moving is what is causing the time to change, that is the time. And then the last thing here, which says, and this is for people who are familiar with Purusha Suktam, there is a thing which says Brahmano osya mukamasit bahu rajanya kritaha uru tadasya yad vaishyah padvyahum kshudro ajayata. It says 4 things, which says, one of them it says is from your face, the Brahmana, that particular Varna of Brahmana are coming. From your arms, the Kshatriyas are coming. From your thighs, the Vaishyas are coming. And from your feet, the Shudras are coming. right? That's why it's very important that you cannot say one is better than the other, because that is like discriminating against the Lord's body parts, right? By saying that something is better than the other, and like, even Bhattatripat says that more, if you remember the second last stanza of the 100th Dasakam, right? It says, Yogi Indranam Tvatange Swadika Sumaduram Mukti Bhajam Nivas. Among all your body parts, the most important part is your feet, where the most, people who have done the most punyam reside. And here it says, from your feet are the Shudras coming, right? So that's why we cannot be very careful to say Shudras. You cannot put them as, you cannot downplay that, because if they are coming from the Lord's feet itself, then that's the most important body part of the Lord, right? So anyway, so this is kind of saying how the 4 varnas which are there are coming from the 4 parts. And again, like I said, there's also reference in Rig Veda also. So Shroni Sthalam Mriga Ganaha, put a F, Mriga Ganah, Padayor Nakhaste, put a plus, Hastyushtra Saindhava Mukhaha, put a Visarga and put a comma there, Mukhaha, Gamanam tu Kalaha, Vipradi Varna Bhavanam, Padanabja Bahu, put a plus, Charuru Yugma Charanam Karunam Bhudete. So those 2 lines are together. Shroni Stalam Mrigaganah Padayornakaste Hastyushtra Saindhava Mukaha Gamanam Tukalaha Vipradi Varna Bhavanam Vadanabjabahu Charuru Yugma Charanam Karunam Bhudete.
Shroneस्थलं मृगगणाः पदयोर्नखास्ते हस्त्युष्ट्रसैन्धवमुखाः गमनं तु कालः विप्रादिवर्णभवनं वदनाब्जबाहुचारूरुयुग्मचरणं करुणाम्बुदेते श्रोणीस्थलं मृगगणाः पदयोर्नखास्ते हस्त्युष्ट्रसैन्धवमुखाः गमनं तु कालः विप्रादिवर्णभवनं वदनाब्जबाहुचारूरुयुग्मचरणं करुणाम्बुधेते.
Sorry. Shronistalam Mrugagana Padayornakaste Hastush. Sorry. Shronistalam Mrugagana Padayornakaste Hastushtra Saindava Mukhaha Gamanantu Kalaha Vipradivarna Bhavanam Vadanabjabahu Charura Yugmacharanam Karunam Budete. Shronistalam Mrugagana Padayornakaste Hastushtra Saindava Mukhaha Gamanantu Kalaha Vipradivarna Bhavanam Vadanabjabahu Charura Yugmacharanam Karanam Budete.
That's right. Samsara Chakramai Chakradhara Kriyaste Vidyam Mahasura Ganosti Kulani Shailaha Nadya Sarit Samudayastaravascharoma Jiyadidam Vapura Nirvachani Yamisha. So the one Chakradhara, the one who wields the Sudarshana Chakra. So your take kriya, so your activity, not that you have to do anything, but just all of that is the kind of cycle of life and death, is kind of all the activity that you are actually doing. Then your viryam, your power or the strength that you have are the great asuras, because asuras are always generally very powerful. So your power is kind of representing the strength of the asuras. Then your bones are Kulani Shailaha, are referring to the mountains which are there all over the world, which are there. Your blood vessels which are running inside your body are the river streams which are running, which are everywhere. Then your hair is referring to again, hair is coming here also as the trees which are there. And then this form of yours, O Lord, which is describing all of the 14 worlds inside and all of the and everything inside that, may that form of yours always shine, right? May it always be ever shining and blissful. Samsara Chakramayi Chakradhara Kriyaste, Viryam Mahasura Ganosti Kulani Shailaha Nadyas Sarit Samudayas Tharavascha Roma, Jiyadidam Vapura Nirvachaniyam Isha. You have to say it together. Vapura Nirvachaniyam Isha. संसार चक्रमयि चक्रधर क्रियास्ते वीर्यं महासुरगणोऽस्ति कुलानि शैलाः नाड्यः सरित्समुदयस्तरवश्च रोम जीयादिदं वपुरनिर्वचनीयमीश
संसारचक्रमयि चक्रधरक्रियास्ते वीर्यं महासुरगणोऽस्ति कुलानि शैलाः नाड्यः सरिस्तमुदयस्तरवश्च रोम जीयादिदं वपुरनिर्वचनीयमीश संसारचक्रमयि चक्रधरक्रियास्ते वीर्यं महासुरगणोऽस्ति कुलानि शैलाः नाड्यः सरिस्तमुदयस्तरवश्च रोम जीयादिदं वपुरनिर्वचनीयमीश
संसारचक्रमयि चक्रधरक्रियास्ते वीर्यं महासुरगणोऽस्ति कुलानि शैलाः नाट्यः सरित्समुदयस्तरवश्च रोम जियादिदं वपुरनिर्वचनीयमीश
last letter, last word, nirvachaniyam isha. It's not isha, just isha.
Oh. संसारचक्रमयि चक्रधरक्रियास्ते वीर्यं महासुरगणोऽस्ति कुलानि शैलाः नाट्यः सरित्समुदयस्तरवश्च रोम जीयादिदं वपुर्निर्वचनीयमीश
Achatan. Idrak jaganmaya vapustava karma bhajam karmavasana samaye smaraniyamahuhu tasyantaratma vapushe vimalatmanete vatalayadipanamosthu nirandhiroghan. So this form of yours, this Virat Swarupam of yours, which has all the 14 words, everything that we saw earlier, whoever is bound by karma, which is karma bhaja, whoever is bound by karma, which like we're going to see, is everybody who is inside the Brahmandam is bound by karma. So they are supposed to recite or think of this form of yours at the end of any event, right? So that's why a bit like I was telling earlier, anytime we do any event, you do in your temple also, you might have noticed, when they do any Vedic ceremony, they always end it with Purusha Suktam. They always chant the Purusha Suktam, which is the form of the Lord, which they describe. Not only at the end of that, even at the time, karma bhajam would also mean at the time of your death. So if you're thinking at the time of my death, if I have to think of something, what should I think of? And they say you think of this Virat form of the Lord. Of course, you may not exactly know which world is sitting in which part of the Lord's body or what is what. That's okay. You just imagine the form of the Lord as the Virat Purusha with all the 14 worlds and everything inside the Lord. That is just the Virat form of the Lord, right? She says, even at the time of your death, that is what you should be thinking about, right? So anyway, you, O Lord, who's inside in that, O Virat Purusha, or Guru Ayappa, who you are also that, right? You are in that form of the Lord. Vatalaya Dipa, please eradicate all the ailments I have. That's why it's a very important chapter. Even if you do not understand what part is where or the meaning, that's totally fine. The essence you have to understand is the first incarnation of the Lord is the incarnation with all the worlds and everything inside the Lord. As long as you get that point and think of it that way, I think that is the essence of this chapter, right? So, Idrik Jaganmaya Vapus Tava Karma Bhajam, Karmavasana Samaye Smaraniyam Ahuhu Tasyantaratma Vapushe Vimalatmanete, Vatalayadipa Namostu Nirundhi Rogan. Idrak Jaganmaya Vapustava Karma Bhajam Karmavasana Samaye Smaraniyamahuhu Tasyantaratma Vapushe Vimalatmanetve Te Vatalayadipa Namostu Nirundhi Rogan.
ईदृग्जगन्मय वपुस्तव कर्म भाजां कर्मावसान समये स्मरणीयमाहुः तस्यान्तरात्मवपुषे विमलात्मने ते वातालयाधिपनमोऽस्तु निरुन्धिरोगान् ईदृग्जगन्मय वपुस्तव कर्म भाजां कर्मावसान समये स्मरणीयमाहुः तस्यान्तरात्मवपुषे विमलात्मने ते वातालयाधिपनमोऽस्तु निरुन्धिरोगान्
ईदृग्जगन्मयवपुस्तव कर्मभाजां कर्मावसानसमये स्मरणीयमाहुः तस्यान्तरात्मवपुषे विमलात्मने ते वातालयाधिपि नमोऽस्तु निरुन्धिरोगान् ईदृग्जगन्मयवपुस्तव कर्मभाजां कर्मावसानसमये स्मरणीयमाहुः तस्यान्तरात्मवपुषे विमलात्मने ते वातालयाधिप नमोऽस्तु निरुन्धिरोगान्.
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Okay, we'll just maybe a couple of stanzas of the Dasakam 7. So Dasakam 7 is kind of where now you think of the next phase, right? What is going to happen? So there are two main things which are happening here. One is Hiranya Garbha Utpatti Varnanam. Hiranya, which is how is the origin of Brahma happening and what is happening, and the penance that Brahma does. And then Vaikuntha Swarupa Varnanam. Then the vision or a description of Vaikuntha that Brahma sees. Right? That's this chapter. Stanza 1. Evam deva chaturdashatmaka jagat rupena jatah punaha tasyordhvam khalu satyaloka nilaye chatosi dhata swayam yam shamsanti hiranya garbhamakila trailokya jivatmakam yo bhutspita rajo vikara vikasan nanasi sriksharasaha. It starts off, so we saw so far, right? In this, we saw how the Brahmandam was formed, which also the ingredients first came. Then the Lord came into the ingredients, stitched the ingredients together to form the Brahmandam. Then once the Brahmandam, that egg was there, then the Lord himself went into it, broke it, created those 14 worlds, and then we saw the Virat Swarupam of the Lord. So all of them is here right now, and nothing else is existing at this point, right? Only this 14 worlds are there as the end of the 6th chapter. So now, when you have to have a person who has to execute the job. So Brahma is the name of the person or the designation of the person who is doing that. Brahma is not the name; it's just the designation, right? So how does Brahma come about? So he says, Lord, it's you only who is Brahma also. So you take again one amsham of yours, and then you become Brahma and go sit in the Satya Loka. So it's again Brahma is also you. Right? Because there's no one else who's going to create anybody, right? So you then create Brahma, and then you put Brahma as a ruler in the Satya Loka. So now this Brahma now becomes the owner of the 14 worlds which are there. Now these 14 worlds are always referred to as Trilokam. They're called as 3 worlds. That is because the bottom 7 worlds are referred to as in one group is one. Then the Bhulokam is referred to as the second group, and the next is top 6 are referred to as the third block. So sometimes it's very loosely referred to as Trilokam or Trilokyam, but it actually means all the 14 worlds when they actually say that. Now, this Brahma, in this case, right, the word Hiranya Garbha means, Garbham means the source, right, from which things happen. So the Hiranya Garbha, the actual meaning is like the supreme soul from which everything comes about. Now, this word is loosely used in this context, right? In Vedas, Hiranyagarbha refers to Lord Narayana because he says that's from Lord Narayana is what everything came. So Lord Narayana is Hiranyagarbha. But it's even Brahma is referred to as Hiranyagarbha because we are going to see how everything else, all beings, everything are going to come from Brahma. So Brahma is also referred to as Hiranyagarbha. So here in this case, Hiranyagarbha is referring to Lord Brahma in this case. So now this Brahma is there. And if Brahma is also pure Sattva Gunam, like the Lord, then he's not going to have any desire, right? So he's not going to be wanting to do anything. So he says, oh Lord, that's why in Brahma, you gave a dose of Rajogunam, a dose of desire. So Brahma now, when he's born, when he's there, he now wants to create something. He has a desire to create something, which is how the process is going to start. So Evam Deva, Chatur Dashatmaka Jagat Rupena Jataha, put a F, Jatah Punaha, put a Visarga comma. Next line, the is goes away. Tasyordhvam Khalu Satya Loka Nilaye, comma. jatosi dhata swayam. Evam deva chaturdashatmaka jagad rupena jatah punaha tasyordhvam khalu satyaloka nilaye jatosi dhata swayam.
एवं देव चतुर्दशात्मकजगद्रूपेण जातः पुनः तस्योर्ध्वं खलु सत्यलोकनिलये जातोऽसि धाता स्वयम् एवं देव चतुर्दशात्मकजगद्रूपेण जातः पुनः तस्योर्ध्वं खलु सत्यलोकनिलये जातोऽसि धाता स्वयम्
एवं देव चतुर्दशात्मकजगद्रूपेण जातः पुनः तस्योर्ध्वं खलु सत्यलोकनिलये जातोऽसि धाता स्वयम्.
Second line, the comma is after satyaloka nilaye.
सत्यलोकनिलये. Okay. एवं देव चतुर्दशात्मकजगद्रूपेण जातः पुनः तस्योर्ध्वं खलु सत्यलोकनिलये जातोऽसि धाता स्वयम्.
Yam shamsanti, comma, hiranya garbham akhila trailokya jivatmakam, comma, yobhut sphita rajo vikara vikasan nana si sriksharasah. So that line, fourth line is continuous. Yam shamsanti hiranya garbham akhila trailokya jivatmakam यो भूत्स्फीत रजो विकार विकसन्नानासि सृक्षारसः.
यं शंसन्ति हिरण्यगर्भमखिलत्रैलोक्यजीवात्मकं यो भूस्फीतरजो विकार विकसन्नानासि सृक्षारसः यं शंसन्ति हिरण्यगर्भमखिलत्रैलोक्यजीवात्मकं यो भूत्स्फीतरजो विकार विकसन्नानासि सृक्षारसः.
यं शंसति हिरण्यगर्भ
यं शंसन्ति
ओके यं शंसन्ति हिरण्यगर्भमखिल त्रैलोक्यजीवात्मकं यो भूस्फीतरजो विकार विकसान्नासि सृक्षारसः. Sorry,
I think the last line, vikasan nanasi.
Vikasan nanasi. Okay. Yeah. Yam shamsati hiranyagarbhamakila trailokya jivatmakam yo bhuspitarajo vikarasan nanasi sruksharasah.
Yeah, the third line, Usha Garu, yam shamsanti.
Yam shamsanti. Okay.
Yeah.
Yam shamsanti.
Just do one more stanza and we'll stop. Sohyam vishwa visarga datta hridayah sampashyamana swayam bodham khalvanavapya vishwa vishayam chintakulastasstivan tavatvam jagadam pate tapatapeti evam hi vaihayasim vanim enam ashishravashruti sukam kurvam stapa preranam. So now this Brahma, because he's got that slight upsurge of Rajoguna, he wants to create. So he has this desire for creation. But, and I won't get into some of the details of the time because that's going to come later in the next Dashakam. So here Brahma, this is happening when complete dissolution has happened. And now the new Brahma is coming up and it's the first day of the first year of the new Brahma, right? So this Brahma is very confused. He doesn't know how to go about doing it, right? So he's thinking for a long time how to do it and he's not able to do it. So at that time he hears a vaihayasim. Vaihayasim means something which can be heard but which cannot be seen, which is also called as ashariri vak, something which you can hear but you don't know where it's coming from. So here is a ashariri vak which says tapaha. It's telling him do penance. That's what it's telling. That's the voice that Brahma hears. So he immediately hears that, he gets it as a hint. And he says, okay, I'm being told to perform penance. And then Brahma then goes into a state of meditation or goes into a state of penance. Soyam Vishwa Visarga Datta Hridayaha, comma, sampashyamanaha, putta is sampashyamana swayam, comma, bodham khalvana vapya vishva vishayam, comma, chintakulas tastivan. Soyam vishva visarga datta hridayah sampashyamana swayam bodham khalvana vapya vishva vishayam chintakulas tastivan.
Soyam vishva visargadatta hridayah sampasyamanastvayam bodham khalvanavapya vishva vishayam chintakulastastivan. Soyam vishva visargadatta hridayah sampasyamanastvayam bodham khalvanavapya vishva vishayam chintakulastastivan.
Soyam Vishwa Visargadatta Hridayah Sampashyamana Swayam Bodham Kalvanavapya Vishwa Vishayam Chintakulastasstivan. Soyam Vishwa Visargadatta Hridayah Sampashyamana Swayam Bodham Kalvanavapya Vishwa Vishayam Chintakulastasstivan.
Tavatvam jagatam pate, comma, thapa tapetyevam hi vaihayasim, comma, vanim enam ashishrava. If you want to break it, 3 words there. Vanim enam ashishravaha is there. Put a ish. Ashishravash shruti sukham, comma, kurvam tapaha. Put a f. Tapah preranam. Tavatvam jagatam pate tapatapetyebham hi vaihayasim vanim enamashishravashruti sukham kurvam stapah preranam.
Tavatvam jagatam pate tapatapetyevam hi vaihayasim vaanimenamashishravashruti sukham kurvam stapah preranam. Tavatvam jagatam pate tapatapetyevam hi vaihayasim vaanimenamashishravashruti sukham kurvam stapah preranam.
Tavatvam jagatam pate tapetyevam hi vaihayasim vaanimenamashishhravash shruti sukham kurvam tapah preranam.
Usha garu, the third line after jagatam pate, there is a comma, okay?
Yeah, okay. Tavatvam jagatam pate tapate petyevam hi
Tapatapetyevam.
tapatapetyevam
Yeah.
tapatapetyevam hi vaihayasim vaanimenamashishhravash shruti sukham kurvam stapa preranam.
Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Enter class here. Sandhanandhavabodhatmakamanupamitam kaladeshabadibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamatre punarurupurushartatmakam brahmatattvam tattavadbhati sakshat gurupavanapure hanta bhagyam jananam kahena vacha manasendriyirva buddhyatmana va prakrute swabhavat karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai narayanahyeti samarpayami. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Andy.
Bye.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh garu.